What's going on, guys? This is the fourth attempt for me to do this video because I can't seem to keep it to 8 minutes. Thank you so much for being here, brothers and sisters. Thank you for supporting this community. You have been a great part of my journey in healing, and I appreciate that. As you well know, those of us who have been through this type of narcissistic manipulative abuse, it's a hell of a crash course. I didn't even know it existed until I went through it, and just like many of you who don't understand, we have had to educate ourselves for several reasons. And for me, it was at first trying to understand the disorder of the person who was abusing me and to help them, and it ended up becoming just part of my healing process and creating this channel. You guys, people, your friends or family, they don't understand what's going on with us. They don't understand the trauma bonding, the triangulation, the manipulation, the harassment, the push and pull, the behavior that is meant to destabilize you, to get you dependent on the narcissist and the narcissist alone as the only salvation. And part of that is our fault. We're going to talk about that today. But because of a few factors. One, my friends and family got tired of being there for me because I kept going back into this cycle. I kept believing the lies, I kept letting the manipulation, and I was too addicted to the fight or flight, to the adrenaline, dopamine, and even to the point where a weakness that I recently discovered, an unresolved issue from when I was younger, we're going to get into that later, was also used by my abuser, by that narcissist, and others. It's amazing what I go through. But anyway, during this healing journey, this self-discovery, you guys have been here, and I've been able to listen to your comments and be there for you, and just you being here and allowing me to talk and get this out or impart my experience and share. And it's been a copacetic experience. I thank you guys. You literally were there when I really needed it the most, and saved my life. Because there toward the end, the harassments that were happening, the smear campaigns, the attempts to isolate me, to defame me, to use what I was going through to paint a picture of me to validate someone else's lies, to platform the person who was trying to get me to off myself, and then other people came in to add into it. Just toxic people everywhere. It's like they were having a polka, you got together. It was like a communal event. Whoever gets well off himself gets a trophy. It's insane, the backstabbing and the lying and the manipulating that went on during a time when I was at my weakest. But you guys were here, and this channel and what we're doing, helping one another, has been a big part of that. This week, I was working on myself. In a way, I was doing shadow work and reflection as to owning thy shit, owning who we are, the mistakes that we made, the choices we made, and how the decisions that I made allowed for the continuation of abuse. I had to own that. Got to own that. It's not our fault in the beginning during the love bomb stage when we are sharing, every secret, every fear, who we are. We want to be one with the person that is presenting themselves as a twin flame or a great love. We want that, and that information is stored while seeds are planted. The manipulators plant seeds, at least good ones, so that when they understand that they begin to treat you, in crazy ways, when they begin to come at you with things that don't make sense, that eventually when you try, and they deny reason, you come back at them with reason, you try conflict resolution, and it doesn't work. The cognitive dissonance within them, their own illusion, won't allow for them to own anything. But they also understand that eventually you're going to get tired of trying to approach a situation with logic and reason, and you're going to blow. And that is the moment when you discover that behind your back, without your knowledge, that toxic person has been weaving a narrative about you to anyone who will listen so that they can point the finger at your reactive abuse or your just explosion and say, see, I told you, they're the toxic one, they're the crazy one, they're the over emotional one, they're the problem, I'm the victim. Any number of things. And that's it. There comes a point where we deny our intuition, where we want to believe those lies, where we begin to adapt because we are constantly being lied to, and ignoring our senses. That, we become complicit, when they ghost us. It's not for, to heal us. It's to be ignorant, go love bomb somebody else, and then use you. Not only that, but use you as a target. That person's evil and crazy, they won't leave me alone, and make the new target or the new victim feel like a hero before moving on to the next and continuing that cycle around and around and around. One of the issues I discovered this week is I began to own what I had done. I handed the Narc X the keys to my destruction, and I chose to keep believing in her. I chose to keep forgiving her. I chose over and over again, despite the eventual actions, the blatant actions of disrespect, soulless, careless, just destructive things. I kept choosing to accept that. I kept choosing to go back. And that's what I had to own. And once I began to allow myself to become disgusted at what I had allowed to do, what that abuser did, what that narcissist did, that's on them. We can only take responsibility for ourselves, our choices, and a person can only change themselves. So I had to take that responsibility. And once I did that, my anger disappeared. And I discovered something else. Another trauma. That during every point in my life where I have done inner work to heal all of the things I went through in childhood, I just seem to skip over what I have called in the past the demon. My dad actually has it. He calls it the bastard. And it is a rage response. It's a toxic response. Toxic people use rage projection to deny accountability. Understanding that helped me to kind of see it too. I had not worked on that. At some point in my 20s, I should have realized that reaction is crazy, and that it's not a healthy way to resolve any type of conflict or to get past a fear or a traumatic situation. It's no way to do it. And I thought I had learned how to control my temper, and I did for a while, but it was exasperated through the triangulation period. Also, the smear campaigning that was going on from the toxic people around me, the subversive nature of just manipulative people who I have allowed in my sphere, and I have not been able to recognize because I never really had, I guess, what to some people would be basic information, but to those of us, we couldn't see manipulative people. We couldn't see that because we trust and believe in people's words, because that's who we are: compassionate, kind, caring, believing, forgiving, trusting. And so I had allowed that within my own spirit. And so after having gone through the list of things and reasons why, I let this happen, being disgusted with myself, allowing that hate left. And I think that that rage wall, that anger that I had used to protect myself from the bad things that happened to me when I was young, had been on standby, had been on the entire time. I think that had at some level been on within me. The more I was triangulated and manipulated and put in a state of constant anxiety, and that also helped to keep me in a hyper defensive, hyper aggressive posture. And that came from allowing things, accepting things that are against my nature, that are against my core values and my beliefs, denying my intuition, and so now I got something new to work on, but it's an enlightening part of this journey. The anger's gone. For like 2 days, I was at peace. That's a peace because I faced it. I faced something that I needed to face, and we're working through it. You know, it's a continuous process, but I felt peaceful. In the last 2 days, I felt more like me than I've ever felt in my life. And it's been beautiful. And then, yesterday, I just can't, I got to a point where all of the collective lessons that I've learned as I have worked on myself and healed and been able to calm and rationalize and become me again. All of the lessons that I've learned have, like, they retroactively empower the past, like the last one. And it's like opening new doors in your mind or in your perception. And so the new eyes that I got the very beginning of this journey have been given an upgrade by removing the hate and the anger from how I am looking at things. And that's a wonderful thing, because when I first began to be able to see manipulations, it still caused anxiety, because some of those manipulations were coming from, you know, others whom I had let in trustingly to my sphere because because my weaknesses, that my strengths as like a compassionate person are actually have weaknesses if we do not have firm boundaries, if we do not have that line of respect. If someone crosses that line of respect, you let them know. And if they cross it again, they got to go. One individual crossed the line during this past year and never forgave me, and set about being a part of this group of toxic individuals on and offline, back home and around the sphere that of my other channel. Just decided to jump in on the bandwagon of these people who were supporting the person who abused me, knowing what I was going through, that I was fighting suicidal thoughts. I'd eventually just come out and say it, and they didn't care. Like, they do hate streams and drama streams about me. They would protect and platform the person who abused me, and also do smear campaign me, and it was more pressure. It's doing what toxic people do, and you know, it's when you're at your weakest, right? But I'm not mad. I'm not mad anymore. I'm not holding on to that hate. Because you don't respond to toxic people. You don't feed them. You don't feed somebody for terrible behavior. When they're out there creating a narrative about you, trying to create a culture of hating someone, of hating another person, because they themselves have not done their inner work. So their crying, abandoned inner child is covered in a patchwork of narcissistic rage and emotional immaturity and a projection of their own ills. It's smearing other people and destroying other people that they're envious of or they're envious of their strength. And one of the things that has always plagued my mind up until recently was why some people just couldn't stand me. And I understand that sometimes you just rub people wrong. There's some personalities don't mix. And I've tried to understand that, but I've always questioned myself because I'm a compassionate person. You know, like, what's wrong with me? Now I understand toxic people play on your weaknesses. Toxic person understands what they're doing when they do that to you. And they're not going to give you a reason as to why there's an issue. There's no conflict resolution. A toxic person wants to break someone down to protect themselves. That's how they validate their existence. That's how they feel strong, because they're not facing their damage, and they know deep down inside that they're a coward. They're not doing the work. They're weak. And when people like that look at others as a mirror, they look outward. So imagine if a person like that, who is constantly criticizes themselves by looking at others and then attempts to destroy them to feel powerful themselves, sees someone who has gone through damages in their life like they did, like a toxic person has, but has actually consistently tried to better themselves and still has compassion and honesty. That's got to be hell. That has to be hell. So these toxic people that I live in their heads rent free. So I don't talk to them. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. They all came out, all of them in their own way, tried to tear me down. And I found out, I guess I would say I realized yesterday, you know, one more of these maggots, of these parasites. And I looked at the whole scope of events and things, and I said, okay, you know what, that makes sense. I wasn't even mad. Like, I really wasn't mad, because I'm not trying to be mad no more. I want to get shit done. I got books to write. I got channels to build. I have things to do. I don't want to feed toxic people. I'm tired of playing with you self-deceptive, cognitive dissident, liars and manipulators who are of such low self-worth that the only way you can distract from the pain inside, from the accountability of not facing your shit and healing your problems, is to go out and destroy other people. I'm not feeding you any brat. I'm not rewarding bad behavior, but last night I decided to thank them. They needed to be thanked, because they inadvertently, without realizing it, helped me out by reminding me who I was. It's very true that my closest friends, even the ones who could not understand what I was going through and did what they could to be there, helped me because they were there. You guys being here helped me because you've been here. Understanding what I did wrong and the issues, the weaknesses that I had, weak boundaries, being too trusting, being too forgiving, expecting that everyone has the same level of honesty, compassion, kindness as I do. Taking everyone at their word. There's a lot of bullshitters out there. These are things that made me susceptible. And at this point, cross my boundary, you're done. You show yourself to be a liar, you're done. I don't have time for nonsense. I'm not going to continually forgive someone who keeps showing me who they are. Not going to happen. There are exceptions to the rule. You get one forgiveness shot, and that's it. My table is going to be exclusive. I have always been a strong individual. I have fought through a lot in my life. I've survived a lot, and I've come up from a lot. And I believe in myself. Always have. I'm so upset, disappointed. I've had to really look at myself and go, God damn, what the hell did you do? Because you're a winner. You don't like liars. Why are you listening to all these lies? Why are you betraying your own principles? I had to look at those things and accept that that's what I did, but that's not who I am. I am reclaiming who I am. And who I am is a person who does not give a singular fuck what anyone else thinks, especially if you are a toxic piece of shit. Don't care what you think. I'm not looking at your live streams. I'm not looking at yourself. I'm not doing any of the stalker shit that you do. I don't think like you do. I'm not living, you're not living in my head. So much so that I don't even know who some of you are. It's not happening, boo. But these stalkers, these people, these maggots, these awful human beings who decided when they saw Steve Walton, someone who was going through a lot of manipulation, harassment, knew damn well what I was going through. When they decided to, jump into a party and see who could step on his head and get him to drown, you proved to me that even at my lowest and weakest state, I am still stronger than every last one. Every last single one of you. Toxic, destructive, lying, blame shifting, smear campaigning, bullshitting, worthless, will never achieve anything of any type of greatness in your life. You will always be hateful and fearful and nasty because you don't even have the strength to look into yourself, face yourself. You don't have the strength to have accountability. And you certainly don't have the strength to forgive yourself. And so you'd rather destroy others. But thank you. Thank you for showing me. Thank you once again. Who I am. I got stuff to do. I got channels to build. I didn't even think I'd be in oh my God, I didn't think that I would be in a narcissistic abuse recovery community. I had no idea this was a thing. This is a thing. And since I am vested in helping other people and spreading awareness and helping in recovery, I'm going to grow this thing. Nothing's going to stop me. I don't give a damn about what any of you say. I'm sorry, boos. Thank you so very much for that unintentional gift, that reminder that you hate me because you ain't me. And I'm going to remain no contact. I don't care what noise is being made. I don't care what flying monkey continues to try and get. I'm going to block and move on. Anyone who tries to get involved, block and move on. And I'm not going to say your name, and we're not going to do drama streams, and we're not going to do videos. I'm not doing it. And I don't care. I'm not mad. I'm not holding on to hate. I'm not going to be like you and hold on to hate. I'm not going to be like them. Excuse me. Damn it. Damn it. There's a toxic person out there right now just stroking their flaccid dick and saying, thank you for recognizing me and validating my existence. No. Done with all that. I got stuff to do. Not going to do it. Yeah, I know who some of you are, and I know what you've done, and I don't give a shit. Doesn't deserve a response. Toxic people do things to get a response out of you. And understand, by the time that terrible toxic fuck has any monicum of courage to approach you, it is going to be after they have already lied and smeared you for a time, so that when you have a reaction to what they're doing, they've already got the lie set up as to why they're a victim and why what they were fucking lying about you is totally true. No point in it. It's no point. Your true friends will see you for who you are. Your character is who you are, not your reputation. Your reputation is something that anybody can build. Anybody can just talk a bunch of shit and create a reputation for you. Who you are is what you do. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to growing this channel, doing future interviews, getting back to work. Thank you guys so much for being here with me and being on this journey. And it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a ride. Be good to each other, guys. Suffer no fools.